Sculpting gel nails. There are some key fundamentals that you need to know when sculpting any type of gel nail, and there are some very important differences than acrylic. Right now, on Nail School. All right, dude, sculpting gel. Give it to me. What's the real deal with sculpting gel?
You have to build a free edge that's clear, so whatever color you put on top, you're going to be able to get it to cure from the top as well as the bottom. One of the things I'm going to show you is basically one step. I actually build the free edge first before I put the base gel. That way, as soon as I'm done building the free edge and I basically cover the whole nail as well as the tip, it'll anchor it on so that when you remove the form before you go into building out the rest of the nail, that you won't tear the free edge off. I'm gonna demonstrate right now how it's done. So I've already prepped and protein bonded the nail. What I'm going to do is get my form on to the practice hand and then show you what we're going to do to build out a nice tip. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the form onto the nail just like this. Okay, and then once we actually have the form onto the nail, we're going to go ahead and build out the free edge first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out with Clear Sculptor. It's a much thicker sculpting gel, as you can see. It's not going to move. I just want to get a nice amount on the tip of my brush, just like this. Okay. So what I'll do is, you can see the thickness that I have on the edge of my brush. What I'll do is I'll get it right to the nail, the edge of the nail, and in order for me to sculpt, what I'll do is I'll bounce it, as you can see, from side to side. See this? Bouncing it from side to side. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to basically get a nice even amount from this corner to this corner. Once I'm done doing that, then what I could lightly do is take the tip of my brush and just start lightly pulling the free edge all the way out to the point, right? So I'm gonna build a nice almond shaped nail, and you can see that I'm actually using the tip of my brush just to guide it all the way out to the edge, okay? Now, as you can see, I've built it all the way out to here. Don't worry whether it's even or like a little bit thicker in certain points. If you're sculpting, having it thicker in certain parts is not going to take away from the actual strength of the nail. So I'm just gonna get it inside the light, right? And all I'm doing is I'm gonna set the tip. So if you're using something thick like this, you could do multiple fingers at a time. I don't need to set it in here for a minute. I'm only gonna freeze it inside the light for literally like 15 seconds, or as long as it takes me to do the other finger. So while it's actually setting inside the light, I would work on the other hand. As soon as I'm done, I would rotate. And I would keep on building my free edges until I'm done with all 10 fingers. Okay, so before I take the form off, I'm gonna get a nice thin layer of base, and I'm just gonna pull, just get a nice thin amount on the tip of my brush, right? And as soon as I get this, I'm going to brush this on from cuticle to free edge, okay? And as soon as I'm done brushing it from cuticle to free edge, I'm going to get it inside the light. When you do your base gel, you're gonna have to set it inside the light for a minimum of 30 seconds. And that's enough time for you to complete the other hand. You could apply base gel to all 5 fingers, get it inside the light, and then while that's curing, work on the other 5 fingers. By the time you're done doing the other hand, right, switch it out and continue your work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to remove the form, okay? What I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna take the magic wand. I'm just gonna kind of just hold it right here, let go, and then you see this part? When I let go, right, it'll slide on here. This is just to make sure that the tip is not gonna break off. It's just a check. What I'll do with this is I'll slide this under the left side of the form as well as the right side of the form, And then when I remove it, as you can see, I have a nice clear sculpted tip. So at this point, like if there's loose edges, I could take a pair of inexpensive nippers and I can kind of clip the edges, as you can see, just to make them nice and even. See this? Nice and even. Okay, so I have a nice clear free edge to work off of. If I decided that I wanted to fade glitter or create any type of structure, I'm gonna get a nice cure not only from the top, I'm also gonna get a cure from the bottom. When you're working with a really pigmented color or a really dark glitter, you wanna ensure that you get a full cure from top to bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix out a really, really nice color and show you with this clear free edge how you're going to get a solid cure from top to bottom. Okay, so I mixed up this really intense glitter mix. So like I can lay this on quite thick, just like I do my acrylic nails. Right, take a look at actually how I'm building this all the way out to the very, very edge. You can see how dense it is, right? And if I want to do a fade, right, I'm just going to lightly just kind of feather it into the body. But the most important thing is having it so that, right, so once it's actually built out, right, to kind of ombre into the body, but you see how dense the glitter is here? Because it's nice and clear, it's not just going to cure from the top, it's also going to cure from the bottom. So let's go ahead and get this inside the light. We'll go ahead and set that for 60 seconds. Okay. So once the light goes off, as you notice, I mean, we have a pretty well-built sculpted nail. You can see we have a really well-built free edge, colored free edge. It's not just going to cure from the top, it's also going to cure from the bottom as well, all the way through. The only thing we have to do at this point is overlay the whole nail. I like to break it into two sections. The first will create a pillow around the edges. Right, that's way it's not too thick. I'm going to be able to cure this inside the light with the least amount of heat, and then I'll come through and finish out the upper arch on my second application. Go ahead and set this real fast. Let me freeze it inside the light. Ready? I'm just going to add one more pearl right to the upper arch so I have good structure from here to here. Alright, once we're done, it's going to go back in the light. I'm going to cure this for 1 minute. You can see how nice your sculptured nail is going to be. Alright. I think everyone who's learning to sculpt gel nails, the biggest challenge is building that free edge thin enough, right, so that whatever color you decide to put on top is going to cure from top to bottom. Remember, you cannot just put a form on and sculpt color gel on the free edge. White, dark glitters, you will not get a good cure from top to bottom. You must start off by building the free edge first. It's always better to build your free edge first before you do your base gel. That way when you remove your form, you don't take the free edge off. It'll anchor it on to ensure that you have a successful platform to build on top of.